Some people, they could have faced rejection as they grow up by the surrounding, in their school or by their teachers. There is rejection. Some are rejected by the society. Rejection is allowed by God. I love to preach about rejection. Most of the Christians, they fail in rejection. But rejection is allowed by God. If you see, rejection causes pain for us. No one wants rejection. No one wants to be rejected by anyone. When we are being rejected, it means we have to go through shame. That feeling being isolated is not good for us. We will feel like we are so disgusting to people. That's how we would feel. But it is something that God allows in our life. God allows rejection. Even Jesus said, you will be rejected on account of my name. When Sarah was discussing, was telling the husband, I believe daily this woman has been nagging the husband. That's what shall be done. There, we must send this woman away. There, we must send this boy away. He must not grow up with Isaac. And keep on doing this. Abraham did not pray about it. He was so sorrowful about that. He was grieved in his heart. But God is a God who cares our feeling. He came and he said that, let it not be displeasing to you. When you are down in your spirit, when you are broken, God could not take it. Who is Abraham to God? Friend of God. Hallelujah. When you are down, when you are emotionally down, you are weak, God will come to you. He will comfort you. He said, do not be broken. Do not be sorrowful over this. He said, listen to her. He said, listen to her. Sarah was asking Abraham to reject. And God said, listen to her. Do you got my point? Means rejection is God's will. Rejection is God's will. God's will in your life. For all those people who rejected you in the past, in your life, even present time, it is God's will. Whatever things that are going on in your life, especially rejection in your life, is a part of our life. It is God's will. You must be a graduate of rejection. By now, you should be a graduate of rejection. Means you are so used to it. It's not something new. But still, you have this self-pity. Oh, people rejected me. It must be used to me by now. Because when you are called as Christian, you are rejected by this world. You are rejected. You have to accept this. You must be willing to be rejected. Maybe for Hagar, that was the first time. That could be the first time. But for us, this is something common. But still we see it as though it is something strange. It is not strange, it's common. We have to accept it. At the other side, being rejected, if we are in the place of Hagar and Ishmael, we would know the pain of being rejected. If we go through the pain, if we go through the rejection, we know how painful it is. I believe that on that time, Hagar was emotionally down. She was very down in her spirit. See, although they do not know that they are being rejected by the will of God, still as a human, they go through that pain. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to pretend like nothing happened. I just telling you that you must understand what is happening. When Lazarus passed away, Jesus knew that he's going to raise him up from the dead. Okay, but he did not come there and stand there as though he has no emotion, no feeling. And he looked at the woman's crying. He felt pity for them. He felt sympathy for them. He cried with them. Emotionally, he was touched by them. Although he knew that the next moment he is going to resurrect Lazarus up, but still he has this feeling. What my point is only one thing. I'm not saying that you don't have to cry, you don't have to go through the pain. You will go through the pain, but you must understand rejection is the will of God. Hagar was not aware of that. But you and I knew it very well that whoever rejects us, it's the work of the Lord. It is the work of the Lord. Who is very pity in this place? Of course, Hagar, because they don't know what's happening to them. They don't know what is happening to her and the son. But we know all things work for the good of those who love God. Today, many of us are being rejected in many ways. Some of you might be rejected by your own parents when you're small. Those days, parents, they are very famous to have this favorism feeling. They love the elders. They will neglect the middle one, the second, or the third, or even the last. And some parents, they love the last, but they will neglect the first and the second. So in every family, this is a big issue where they say, Pastor, my parents don't like me. They rejected me. Hallelujah. This is something common. And some people, they could have faced rejection as they grow up by the surrounding, in their school, or by their teachers. There is rejection. Some are rejected by the society because of your character. You might be rejected by certain people. Some might be facing rejection in your relationship with people. And some might be rejected in your career where you have to be terminated. And even in church, rejection is something very common where some people will be rejected for their wrongdoings. Hallelujah. There are many more that we can be listed out. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not something strange. It's something common. And we, those who go through rejection, have to accept this. Because if it is the will of God, it must be done. It must be done. When we know rejection is God's will, it must be done. All of us has went through rejection. Some are going through it. Some will go through rejection. This is something that we can never change. What I'm trying to say is this. Prepare your heart for everything. Prepare your heart for everything, knowing that God is working behind all that is happening in your life. We often blame those who reject us in our life. But it is actually a part of God's will. In the past, someone has rejected you. To this day, you don't have the heart to forgive that person. To this day, you're still holding grudges against them. You have something against them because they have said no to you. Do you agree with me? Something is there in your heart to this day. And then you pray, Lord, answer my prayer. I need this blessing. I need that. I need a car. I need a house. But your prayer being hindered. And you feel that you are right. You are right about yourself. But you don't understand. You are holding something against someone who rejected you in the past. Why should you hold something against them when it is the will of God? Are you trying to be against God? If Hagar and Ishmael, they were angry with Abraham and Sarah that day, if they choose to do that, it means they are against God. Because it is God's will. How can we fight God's will? Impossible. We can't fight God's will. The best is to forgive and forget it. Forgive and forget it. Because they have done their part as a tool in the hand of the Lord. They have allowed God to use them to reject us. So we have to accept that. When God allowed rejection in your life, there is a purpose to prosper you, to bless you as well. Because you wouldn't be what you are today if people never reject you in the past. You can't deny this. Because people say no to you in the past, now you are somebody, now you are doing something for God, you are something in this society. Why it happens? Because of rejection. All of us, our destiny has come into the right path, right direction because of rejection in the past. Nobody can deny that. Hallelujah. Man's rejection provokes God's redirection. This we need to accept. At the moment man begins to reject us, that's where God will start redirecting us. So God uses rejection as a tool. Hallelujah. So when people reject you, it is actually pushing you toward your destiny.